it is so not over, but, tick, tick, it's getting down to the wire. Eric, the general thing you hear in the atmosphere is people saying, oh, the polls are tightening. But are they really? And if so, what does that mean?
But they are tightening a little bit. And I think people, when we had a campaign where we haven't seen a lot of movement in the polls, are desperate to see anything happening in the numbers, something changing from day to day. I think that we have seen that the Liberal lead over the Conservatives has shrunk. It's now somewhere around 4 or 5 points instead of 6 or 7, where it was a couple of weeks ago. But we really haven't seen much of a change in Ontario. The Liberals still leading in British Columbia. They're still ahead in Atlantic Canada. They're still ahead in Quebec. So all the ingredients for them to win the most seats, and still probably a majority, is still there, even if we see that margin between the two parties nationally has gotten a little bit smaller than it was a week or two ago.
So, Philippe, what is something that you found interesting about the polls over the last 4 weeks?
Well, campaigns that end the way they began in the polls are actually the exception. It's very rare. And now we see, of course, the big movement that happened in public opinion was before the rate dropped. When we look at the curves since late March, the numbers haven't really moved, as Eric said. And you talked about tightening. Yes, the overall numbers tightened a bit by a point or two, but it did not tighten where the Conservatives needed. When we look at the seat projections on my website and on the CBC tracker, we see that the lines have been flat since late March, early April.
Interesting. Can we talk about some specifics here? Because, in a Canadian election, there's the big picture, but then there are 343 local races. So I'm curious, Eric, what is one riding that you will be paying particular attention to Monday night?
Well, it's like trying to choose your favorite child, I suppose. But if I had to, one of the ridings I'm really interested in is Port Moody Coquitlam in the BC Lower Mainland. This is a riding that has been a close three-way race for actually the last 3 elections. The NDP has won it twice, the Conservatives have won it once over that time, but the Liberals were always in that fight. We've seen a lot of movement in British Columbia, the Liberals up, the Conservatives up, and the NDP way down. So I think this riding will be a little bit of a test case. Will the Liberals make the gains at the NDP's expense that they need to get themselves up into majority territory? Will the Conservatives make the gains they need in suburban areas of the country to have a shot at winning the election? And will the NDP survive this election at all? I think Port Moody Coquitlam will be one of the ridings I'll be watching on election night.
Okay, that's one from British Columbia. Philippe, what will you be watching in particular?
Well, I chose one close to home. So Trois-Rivières, between Quebec City and Montreal, is an interesting case. Trois-Rivières has swung in the past. It's won to the PCs, it won by the Bloc Québécois. The NDP took it in the Orange Wave. The Bloc Québécois won it back. But the federal Liberals have not won the riding of Trois-Rivières since 1980. And right now, the numbers that we have show that the Liberals are competitive in Trois-Rivières. And you even saw Mr. Carney campaign in Trois-Rivières yesterday. So perhaps their internal polling shows that they have a shot. If the Liberals win Trois-Rivières, it could signal a very good night in Quebec and, of course, overall a good night nationally.
So as someone who has been studying 122 ridings in Ontario, I'm kind of surprised neither one of you spoke about Ontario, but I am curious, Eric, where in that province will you be most interested in?
Well, it's obviously going to be the Greater Toronto Area. This is the region of the country that the Liberals have won in the last 3 elections, and it has delivered their government. But I think why we haven't talked about Ontario is that the Liberal lead there is pretty big, and we're not seeing a lot of indications that the Conservatives are going to make the breakthrough they need. If we do see that some of the GTA, particularly Mississauga, Brampton, Oakville, if those ridings are turning blue in election night, then maybe Pierre Poilievre has a chance to win this. But the numbers suggest that Ontario is trending toward the Liberals, and if that holds, then they're going to win the election.
Philippe, anything we're missing there?
Well, I also look at Atlantic Canada. Last time the Conservatives won 8 seats there, so this will be the early results that we'll have. If we see the Conservatives are not able to hold their own in Atlantic Canada, it could signal a bad night.
Okay. As always, you guys get so much in such little time. It's impressive, and it helps us all. So thank you both for joining us again. Enjoy election night.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Adrienne.
Cheers.